Well, good morning, everyone. It's Mr. Cooper here. It's really lovely to see you again. It's Wednesday, the 13th of May, and I thought we'd start today's collective worship with a bit of a song. And it's one that I think, if there's anyone else at home, they might even join in with too. It's called He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole wide world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the wind and the rain in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the sun and the moon in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got the plants and the creatures in his hands. He's got the plants and the creatures in his hands. He's got the plants and the creatures in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got everybody here in his hands. He's got the whole world in his hands. Okay, today's I Wonder question is, I wonder if I were a disciple, how would I feel about spreading Jesus' message? Now, a disciple, if you remember, they were the closest friends Jesus had around him that supported him, looked after him, were his friends, but also agreed and wanted to spread the messages that Jesus said out into the wider world. Okay, so following Jesus' death and resurrection, the disciples spread far and wide, and they talked about his messages of love and understanding and hope and all the positive things that Christians believe to this day. Now, I think the most important of these messages is a message of kindness. At the moment, some of you might have continued to be kind and try to be kind wherever you can. I know some of your home learning that you've sent in has included messages of kindness. So lots of you have sent birthday cards, for instance, to the gentleman, Captain Tom, who raised all that money for the NHS, a fantastic amount, and has done his little bit. So he's been kind, and you've been kind sending messages to him. There's been a number of you, I'm sure, that would have taken part in the on a Thursday night, a little clap. You might have been into your street, even if it's after your bedtime, to say thank you to all the NHS carers and people that are working incredibly hard in these tricky times. So again, they're messages of kindness, not messages like verbal messages, but messages spread by gestures, by doing nice things. Now, I must admit that I went out last Thursday, and it was the 7th time we'd been out into the street to do a clap. And there was a little tiny thought in my head, and I thought, just a little nagging thought as I was doing it, I thought, is this helping? Is this making a difference to anyone? Because we want to thank the people in the NHS, but when I looked around the street and thought, right, okay, well, that person over there, well, I know what job they do. They don't work in a hospital. They don't do this job. And it just got me thinking, wondering if the right people were getting the thank you. And it also made me think, when we're kind, if no one notices it, does it really have a difference, make a difference? And I just wanted you to think about that. Should you still be kind even if no one thanks you for it or no one notices? There's a little story that comes into play here, and there's two characters in this story. I want you to think about which one you might be. So if you imagine an empty beach, nice sunny day, but the night before there's been a big storm, and the waves have slowly decreased in size, but it's still quite sort of windy and not many people are around. But there is a little family with a little girl in the family. And the little girl is very shocked because when she gets near to the sea, she notices not one, not two, but hundreds of starfish have washed ashore. Now, after a big storm, that's not unusual. You get lots of sea creatures that are displaced by the waves and they get washed up and left there. And if they're left out for a long time and the sun rises, they can die. They can dry out and die. Now, the little girl knows all about starfish. She's learnt all about them. And she's very shocked and she sees them all, not sure what to do. The other character in the story is an old man. The old man is used to seeing the sea. He's been there every day for many, many years. He comes for his walk out and he looks over and he sees the big pile of starfish that have washed ashore. And he thinks, oh, yeah, there must have been a big storm last night. There was all that wind and the rain that came down. And I bet that's where the starfish have come from. Oh, well, what a shame. But then he notices something different about today. When he looks more carefully and he walks slowly towards where the starfish are on the beach, he sees a little girl. And you might already know this story, know what the little girl's doing. She's very, very carefully going over to the starfish. And she doesn't really like touching squelchy, weird things like slugs and things, but she's been really brave today. She's choosing to be kind. And what she does to each of the starfish, she gets them and she's not sure, but she picks them up. Oh, she puts them in her hand. And then she puts her two hands together like this. And very slowly and very, very carefully, because she doesn't want to drop it or touch it much more, she takes the starfish and lets it go in the sea. And the old man watches this, because each time the little girl does it, it takes her quite a few minutes to do one pick up, one gradual carry all the way down to the sea to let the starfish go. Now, as you can imagine, the old man's seen quite a lot in his lifetime, and he's seen these starfish come and go, and he's seen how eventually on a normal day they'd dry out, the tide would come in again and sweep them all back to sea. But he is very surprised by the little girl and her actions. When he goes up to it, he says, "Hello, little girl. Are your parents over there?" She says, "Yes, they're just over there." He said, "Well, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And she says, "I'm picking up the starfish like this." Puts them on her hand again, and I'm carrying them over to the sea. And she's trying to be really brave and show him how she does it. She picks each one up and puts it down into the sea. He said, "What? Why are you doing that?" And she said, "Well, I'm doing it to help them, to be kind." And the old man says, "But look how many starfish there are. There are hundreds of starfish there. Hundreds. It's going to take you all day. Have you got all day?" And the little girl says, "Well, no, I've got to go. I'll go soon because it's nearly our lunchtime." And the man says, "Oh, all right then, okay." But this is the important bit. The little girl says, "Even if I just help one more, it's still one more little starfish that's helped back to life. There might be hundreds more I can't help, but if I can make a difference to one, then I've made a difference and I've been kind." And the old man is taken aback, and he suddenly realises in this little girl how wise that idea is. He's right, isn't he? He realises that the little girl does this, and she says such a simple thing that if she can help one, it makes a difference. Now, when you're choosing to be kind, you think about all the starfish that you can help. Now, not literally. I don't expect lots of you have got lots of starfish in your house hanging around that you can pick up and put to the sea. But it reminded me of a little thing yesterday. I came downstairs. I'd been doing lots of work all day. It was quite late. and our front room was absolutely full of Lego bricks, every different colour. They'd all been organised, but they're all in different piles all over the place, literally thousands of them. Now, this is something that might happen to you. They might not be Lego bricks, they might be jigsaw pieces, or they might be, I don't know, crayons. And I just thought, oh no, I'm going to tidy all these up. But luckily, I left the room to go upstairs, and as I came back down, they might not be able to tidy away as fast as I did, but for once my two little boys had helped, and they'd picked up little bits of the bricks and started to put them back in the right boxes. So that's a little bit like the starfish. They can choose to be kind, you can choose to help, and anything you do makes a difference. Now, I did notice them, and I said, oh, thanks, that's really helpful for you to help tidy up. Makes a difference, it does help. But I think the little girl in the story would have done that and helped those starfish, even if no one was around, because she knew that if she made a difference to one, she makes a big difference. So when we're thinking about how the disciples spread Jesus' messages and the messages of kindness, if you look, kindness is all over the place. People are being kind, people are doing kind things, they're making kind gestures. I just want you to think to yourself quietly, if you have chance, or have a chat about it, whether or not when you choose to be kind, that you're doing it even if there's no one else around and no one's going to say thank you or notice even. Are you just choosing to be kind because it's a good thing to do? Okay. Right, we're going to conclude a collective worship. If you'd like to pray with me, you know what to do. And if you agree at the end, you just say amen, okay? Hold my hand, God, lead the way. Help me be good every day. Let me know what is wrong and right. Keep me safe in your guiding light. Let me know what you have planned. Lead the way, God. Hold my hand. Amen. Right, everyone. Our collective worship concludes there. Please keep your work coming into your class teachers. It's really nice to see the All-Star Gallery building up week by week with lots of examples on it. If you've got any home learning you want to share, send it into the emails from the class teachers and keep in touch with what you're doing. It's lovely to hear how you're getting on. Keep working hard and keep being kind. Choose it, okay? Right. Can everyone quietly stand up and leave without a fuss? Okay, bye-bye. Right, after failing to do so last week, I thought I'd just show a little bit of a carrot update from the garden. The seeds are growing really well. I've had a good amount of sunshine and kept watering them, and their fantastic little seeds are continuing to grow. So exciting stuff. There's also another picture of just the rest of the veg patch. Got some peas and things growing, so that's exciting too. Right, I hope your growing's well, if you're managing to do any at home as well. Keep me updated if you want to send any photos in to your class teachers. Okay, bye.